Yo, I'm Kent, also known as KT, and as many of you know, I have the privilege of serving as your CEO. And today it's time for another version of DaVita Home Video. The subject today is Snappy, our wonderful new clinical documentation system. But first, a little background. Many of you have commented that over the last 2 years, our company has put together a track record of doing what it said it would do. Well, Snappy and the pieces that precede it represent our next delivery. What are those pieces? Well, there are 4 pieces that come along with this. The first piece is an improved infrastructure, an improved computer and technical infrastructure, new, better, and more computers for almost all of our facilities. In addition, some new telecommunications equipment, so you can have direct linkage to the DaVita network. The second package, the second delivery, the second wave of change is the uniform flow sheet. One flow sheet used by all DaVita centers, which not only will improve operations when they're manual, but also lays the foundation for Reggie and Snappy, which are waves 3 and 4 of change. Reggie is our new patient registration software, a huge improvement over what currently happens. Fourth and finally is Snappy, the big winner, our new clinical documentation system, our new clinical management and documentation system. We promised this a year and a half ago, and we are now delivering. Where do we stand on these 4? Well, first of all, what's remarkable is that we are on schedule, almost unheard of in companies our size on projects this big. The improved infrastructure, the new computers and telecommunications equipment are now in over 335 of our centers. The uniform flow sheet is in over 290 of our centers. Reggie, the new patient registration software, is in 70 of our centers, and Snappy, the big winner, is wrapping up its pilot, its debut, in 6 of our centers. And this is a very big deal. Now, why are we doing this? There are 6 reasons why we're going to all this work. First, number 1, is it's the only way to achieve our mission. We simply have to take these millions of dollars out of profit and invest them in better systems to support you in the centers. Second, we do believe it'll end up being a sound financial investment because we still lose some charges, and this system will help us capture them. Third, it's going to be a great tool for you. You're going to spend less time chasing paper and more time caring for patients. It will make your life a little bit less difficult on a day-to-day basis. Fourth, the quality of the data, the quantity of the data, and the accessibility of the data for our physicians will be significantly enhanced. Fifth, our compliance will be much improved and much easier. It is oh so important and oh so difficult. Sixth and finally, if you put 1 through 5 together, you see that patient care will be significantly enhanced, and that is the big bottom line for us. Now, nothing I've said will change the fact that putting in a new system, putting in new operating processes is a lot of work, is a big pain. We've already had a number of centers, however, step up and volunteer to lead the charge because they want those benefits early on, and so they're doing their work early on. We'd like you and your teammates to indicate to us your own preferences as to whether or not you want to be in the front end, leading the charge, first to do the work, first to get the benefits, or at the back end. So please, in a process that will be described to your administrator, indicate your team preference. In an effort like this, so important to us and our patients, there is only one way to close. And that is to say, one system for all, and all on one system. Thanks for listening.
Hi, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Snappy, DaVita's new clinical software package. You may have heard a little bit about me. I wanted to take some time today to let you know what I am about, how I will arrive at your center, and what I can do for you. What is Snappy? Snappy is Chris plus ClinLab and a whole lot more. Snappy gives you the gift of time. The time it takes you to gather information for your monthly lab review and patient care meetings will drop dramatically. Snappy will eliminate mundane, time-consuming tasks like your daily EpiGen, Fairlicet and Zemplar inventory control process, Snappy has all the physician orders, hemodialysis orders, PD orders, in-center medications, home medications, PRN orders, ancillary orders, and non-billable fluff the pillow, elevate the feet type orders. And the physician will now sign a computer-generated order report once a month. No more sticky sign here arrows in the chart. No more nagging your docs to sign their verbal orders. They will all be consolidated onto one report, which is reviewed and signed once a month. Snappy will produce your treatment documents with all instructions. No more Post-it notes in the chart or at the nursing station. All treatment instructions print on the flow sheet, so even part-time or per diem or a teammate from a nearby facility will know what to do. Snappy will automate compliance monitoring so we, as a company, and you, as a facility, will know where we need to focus our efforts to ensure 100% compliance. I love my users, and I have made sure that my system is easy to navigate and will direct you through the process quickly and easily. Let me show you what Snappy looks like and how it works. This is my login screen. Each user has a specific login assigned to them with different levels of access based on your job description and responsibilities. This is the order screen. All the orders are entered by designated team members and can be viewed by anyone with access to Snappy. The menu on the left side of the screen leads you through the process. Here is how Snappy fits into the process. The patient care technicians and nursing staff collect the pre-treatment data and initiate dialysis. The PCT then enters the pre-patient data into Snappy like this. Still looks simple, doesn't it? It only gets better. After patient's treatment is administered, the patient care technician enters the post-patient data into Snappy. The nurse then reconciles the treatment by indicating which medications and treatments have been given. The nurse will then generate services and print the flow sheets for the following day's patients. Here are some examples of what this part of the process looks like in Snappy. Here is where the nurse signs off on the treatment and the medications that have been given. The nurse will also generate services and print the flow sheets for tomorrow. And voila! You are ready for the following day's patients. We will make sure your facility is ready to start using my system by giving you on-site training. Each training session is specifically geared toward the job that you will be performing, and you will get a chance to have hands-on practice before the system is turned on. We have some great trainers who will be coming to your facility. The first is your Snappy coach. You may recognize this individual as they are a teammate from your region. There will also be a clinical specialist and a software trainer to assist you during the week you go live on Snappy, as well as the following week. Let's hear what our pilot sites have to say about their Snappy implementation.
Snappy has affected our workplace in a positive way. As far as teamwork, it has brought about teamwork, it has brought about commitment, accountability, because with Snappy itself, everything is rolled into one. So everything is right there for you as a nurse.
I think Snappy has made it faster. I think it's definitely made our jobs faster, and it's made it more organized. It just, you put the patients on, you put the first part in, you take your patients off, you fill out the rest, you take your next 4 on, you put the information in. It just falls into place for me.
It was very easy to just learn. I picked it up really within the first time, and I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. It makes our job a lot easier.
I love Snappy, actually. There was a couple little things that I didn't like about it, but I'm not good on the computer, so I had a little issue with the computer, but we worked all that out. So, but other than that, I think Snappy is wonderful.
Snappy organizes our flow sheets and provides an easier program of implementing the flow sheets with a computer-based program. I like the Snappy program personally. If I didn't, I'd sit here and tell you I didn't, but I do. I like the program.
Well, Snappy helps simply by enabling us to maintain tremendous compliance. I think that's the most important thing, or the biggest thing that I've seen, is that we're able to put in orders and it comes up immediately the next day on the flow sheet, so that there's no copying errors, because we always hand wrote all the flow sheets prior to that.
Oh, the Snappy people were wonderful. They were really, really good. And the initial training that we got was very adequate. When I went out on the floor on the first day, they had to help me with a few things, but it came really easy to me.
The training itself, I think the staff was very impressed. I can truly say, because they caught on real good. I mean, very fast.
At first, I was a little hesitant because it was change, for one. But as they trained us on it, it's really easy to catch on. It's really fast.
It's so easy to do it, even when it comes to the computer. If you have never worked on a computer before, the trainers that came to show us about it was so good, and it's so easy. It gives us more time and quality that we can sit down and talk with our patients. It's better on our patient education, and you can go to the computer and get any information out that you want.
Actually, in the beginning, I was a little apprehensive that it was going to be really time-consuming. But once you get used to the computer, which didn't take long at all, we actually have a little more time than doing it by hand, which you'd think. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big computer person, but once I got used to the system, which took, I guess by the second day, I felt really comfortable with it.
But the Snappy trainers, they assured us that you did not have to be a computer genius to figure out the program. Everything was very, pretty much self-explanatory from screen to screen.
Oh, the people were very friendly, very helpful. They made themselves available, and very professional.
And as we went on, it became very familiar to us, because as long as you know where to go with the Snappy program, it was easily accessible.
That was great. Lori trained me, and I was a little apprehensive, new things, change. And we just zipped through it. And one thing I like, too, is if you forget something, Snappy reminds you that, you see that the blank is there, so you remember to fill it in.
Being a charge nurse, we have a few extra responsibilities, but they has also eliminated some of the responsibilities, which I find is good. Believe it or not, it's taught me a lot about computers, because I never knew anything about computers. And I've learned how to type, which I really enjoy. I think Snappy's very good.
I think the patients benefit from Snappy because all their information is there and they're getting better care.
It improved the patient care because you're not so much dealing with the everyday hustle and bustle of the paperwork, because everything is in one general location, which make it much more accessible for the nurses, the techs, the doctors, whoever needs that information on the patient. Therefore, you can spend more time with the patient itself.
I think the patients overall, with Snappy itself, it has helped them in a sense, because when it helps us as staff, it helps them because they get better dialysis time. It's a lot more accurate, so there's less mistakes.
It benefits the patient through us, because we can identify whether we've reached our goal, whether there's been a problem with, like, a particular patient with a blood pressure or so on, because it asks for the lowest blood pressure, so you can sort of go back and monitor that and see, can they withstand what you're going for, what goal you're going for. So it does benefit them a lot. It just keeps us more in tune with the treatment.
And it gives you a little bit more of a time management skill when it comes to your patients, because you know that you have to go ahead and input the information into the system. So you have to make more time and be more careful and things of that nature. And then the charge nurse checks them over before you leave. So it makes you more accurate throughout your day. Flow sheets are printed the day before their treatment. It has their dry weight on it, their last blood pressures and things of that nature, so you can see if they run pretty low or they run high, if they're evaluating their dry weight, what medications they will need, if they're a graft or a catheter, if they bled long past treatment, which is very helpful because then you can let the nurse know to shorten their heparin.
I like that everything is on your flow sheet, everything is regenerated, and the information is there. There's no clerical errors because the nurses don't have to rewrite the flow sheets. because after a long day, you know, they get tired. You miss things. People can't always read other people's handwriting, so I think it's wonderful.
It doesn't take long to put the information from your flow sheet and transfer it into the computer. You can do one flow sheet probably 10, 15 seconds if you're busting a move and doing what you're supposed to be doing. It doesn't take long.
One of the things I like about Snappy, and I'm just going to tell you this, is that with the medication changes, the Epogen changes, and the Zemplar, and all those things that we do once a month with labs, with Snappy we automatically put it in, and all we have to do is write the order, so when the flow sheet prints up, it's all there. So it's very handy in that aspect.
It will mean, because it's really quick. I'm not stuck writing down stuff on the flow sheets. I can just go enter stuff into the computer, and it takes 1 or 2 seconds, and then you're all done, and you have more time to monitor your patients and be with them.
The good thing about it, it makes you more aware of signing your names to medication and all, because they have a good follow-up thing. It's places you have to sign, and you know the saying, if it's not documented, you didn't do it. So it makes you more aware now, okay, I better sign this and I better sign that.
Well, okay, I think the first thing that it's done is taken away that drudgery job of writing in red ink on the flow sheet for the next treatment. And everybody was always borrowing red pens. I used to buy a pack of 10, you know, and hand them out, and then I wouldn't have any. And that took time.
Well, I really like Snappy, and the biggest thing that I like about Snappy is it has eliminated transcription errors, because we used to copy flow sheets by hand and you'd get wrong medication doses, and this way it's in the computer and the flow sheets come out, printed out off the computer. You don't have to do anything by hand. So that's really neat.
Before Snappy, time consuming as far as writing the flow sheets out, and then the errors were there. You know, transcription errors, all those things was there.
I mean, one time is one time too many for a dose not to be correct, but that doesn't happen with Snappy.
So with Snappy, you don't have that.
Well, having to input the information in, and then it transfers back to the next sheet. You can see where you might have made a mistake because you leave blanks or something doesn't add up, and it sort of lets you know. So you go back and you say, oops, you know, that was the wrong time on that. And sometimes when you can't read other people's writing, it makes you go back and ask a person, you know, because you might have interpreted the wrong numbers or wrong information.
Well, the accountability factor is that once you get a doctor's order, or if you have anything as far as vascular access, any hospitalization, any kind of activity that's going on with the patient, you put it right there in a computer, and it automatically takes all these things in, and it kind of give you feedback. Whereas if that patient is gone, you're not going to get a flow sheet for that patient, and it's all there, not only for the doctors but also for the clin lab as well, which is part of the, you know, process. Overall, it's making the company itself as one. You know, and I know Kent Theory, he always say one for all and all for one. And I truly believe that. You know, overall you get quality service, you get management that's there, and like I said, accountability, teamwork, all of those things you get when you have one service. And so I would recommend Snappy for other companies. I truly would.
Snappy is definitely organization, and Snappy is definitely needed.
But as far as the day-to-day maintaining of the whole system, it's an absolute snap to learn.
Snappy is a good nursing tool. It helps the nurse evaluate the progress, recheck her data, make corrections, and it facilitates the information to the doctor.
I think Snappy is really going to work for us once we get everything situated, know how to troubleshoot, and do all those extra things that we have to do with the computer itself. I think Snappy will be a great access to us.
Convenience is always a plus, you know. Anything that can provide somebody convenience, they're willing to pay for, and they're loving it, you know. And it does provide a lot of convenience. It makes things easier.
Snappy speaks for itself. It's very snappy. To the snap, just snap, snap, snap. Sort of like snap, crackle, pop, Snappy. It's a nice system, very much so.
I love Snappy. Yeah, I really do. I think it's a big improvement to our unit.
I like the dragon. He makes me smile. No, every time you sit in front of the screen, you log on and there's that little dragon. You know, little things like that, and when you smile a little more, it makes your day go by better.
Snappy truly means one for all and all for one.
Thank you for allowing me to introduce myself. I'll see you at the center.